8 forbidden signs she's secretly into you, even if she's taken. Psychology tricks. Attraction isn't a choice, it's a reaction. And it often shows up in small, quiet ways before anyone dares to say a word. Flirting has rules, apparently. Funny thing is, nobody ever gives men the handbook. Because you've probably lived this exact moment. She's clearly taken, yet something about the way she acts around you doesn't feel normal. It's subtle, but it's there. And once you notice it, it's hard to unnotice. One minute she's calm, casual, and totally standard. Then suddenly, the air shifts, the vibe changes. Her tone gets warmer, her eyes hold a little longer, and now you're stuck in that mental tug of war. Is she actually into me, or am I just making this up? If you've ever had that thought, you're not crazy, you're not desperate, and you're definitely not alone. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being in a relationship doesn't erase attraction. It doesn't magically shut off curiosity. It doesn't delete chemistry. People can still feel pulled towards someone, even when they shouldn't. But when she's taken, the signals usually aren't loud. They're not obvious. They're careful, controlled, and often disguised as nothing. That's exactly why they mess with your head. So today, we're going to break down 8 forbidden signs she's secretly into you, even if she's taken. The kind most men feel but can't prove. These aren't just she's being nice behaviors. They're patterns tied to psychology, body language, and emotional tension. 1. Her voice becomes softer around you. When her voice becomes softer around you, pay attention. A woman's voice often tells a story her words carefully avoid. This is not romance novel imagination. It is backed by observation and research, especially within female psychology, where subtle shifts often speak louder than obvious actions. Studies on nonverbal communication show that when a woman feels a quiet pull towards someone, her voice can soften without her planning it, without her noticing, and without any intention to send a signal. That is exactly why it matters. What happens unconsciously is often the most honest. Do not brush it off as coincidence. Do not assume she is tired or distracted. This change is rarely dramatic and never theatrical. It is gentle. It is warm. It is smoother. Sometimes it is just a touch slower. Sometimes it carries a faint breathiness that was not there before. You must understand this clearly. The key is comparison, meaning lives in contrast. Listen to how she speaks to others when you are nearby. Notice whether her tone with coworkers, friends, or strangers is efficient, clear, and neutral, yet shifts when she turns toward you. When that happens, it is not random. That is her nervous system relaxing. That is her guard easing. That is comfort quietly replacing distance. In psychology, tricks related to attraction, comfort is always the doorway everything else walks through. Imagine a group conversation. She sounds confident and composed with everyone else. Her words flow easily but firmly. Then she looks at you and something changes. Her voice slows. The edges soften. There is a warmth that feels almost private, even though others are present. Sometimes a light laugh slips into her sentences, even when the moment does not really call for it. Be very clear about this. That laughter is not about your joke being brilliant. It is about her feeling at ease with you. In female psychology, laughter often signals safety and emotional openness. It is the body quietly saying, "I like being here," long before the mind puts words to it. That is why you must not rush. Do not interrupt. Do not try to impress. Pressure stiffens what comfort loosens. If you are trying to understand how to fall in love without forcing anything, this is one of those moments where patience does the real work. Yes, some women naturally speak gently. That is true, but that is not the point. The point is whether the gentleness appears selectively, whether it shows up more clearly with you than with others. Selective softness is intentional without being planned, and that distinction matters. Do not ignore it. Do not overanalyze it either. Simply register it calmly. Attraction often announces itself softly before it ever speaks clearly. Many men miss this signal. They hear the words and ignore the tone. Yet tone carries emotion. Tone carries intention. Tone carries truth. Psychology tricks that actually work are built on noticing patterns, not chasing signs. Be observant, be grounded, be present. When her voice lowers slightly around you, when it sounds more relaxed and less guarded, it means she feels safe enough to let her natural rhythm come through. Safety is never passive. It is earned through consistency, respect, and emotional steadiness. Not through pressure, not through performance. This is where How to Fall in Love becomes less about strategy and more about awareness. Love does not start with declarations. It starts with micro shifts like this, subtle changes that say, "You are different to me," without ever using those words. Treat those moments with care. Responding correctly does not mean escalating. It means matching her calm, matching her pace, staying emotionally steady. Attraction grows where there is space to breathe. Crowd it and it retreats. Notice if her voice grows softer when conversations drift into personal territory. When she asks about your day, your thoughts, your experiences, that softness is often paired with genuine curiosity. Curiosity is another quiet marker of interest in female psychology. When these signs align, softened tone, easy laughter, relaxed pacing, you are not seeing chance. You are seeing emotional permission beginning to form. Psychology tricks are most powerful when they teach you what not to do. Do not test her. Do not tease excessively. Do not try to pull more than she is offering. Subtle interest thrives on safety, not pressure. Understand this as well. Her voice is one of the few signals she cannot fully control. Facial expressions can be managed. Words can be chosen carefully. Tone slips through defenses. That is why it is reliable. When you hear it, let it guide you toward patience rather than action. Attraction deepens when it feels unobserved, not examined. This matters deeply for men who want to understand how to fall in love in a way that lasts. Lasting connection is built on reading emotional cues accurately and responding with calm confidence, not urgency. If she speaks to you with warmth even when the topic is ordinary, if her voice seems to invite closeness rather than keep distance, take that seriously. Quietly. Real interest rarely shouts, it whispers. Your role is not to chase the whisper. Your role is to listen, to stay present, to let comfort grow naturally. When a woman's voice softens only for you, it is not an accident. It is her nervous system recognizing something it likes. Handled with respect and patience, that recognition can grow into something meaningful over time, especially when you understand psychology tricks, respect female psychology, and learn how to fall in love by allowing connection to unfold without force, without pressure, and without turning every sign into a conclusion. 2. She makes small but noticeable changes to her appearance. She makes small but noticeable changes to her appearance, and this is one of those signs people feel but rarely say out loud. Here is the quiet truth. Women do not put extra care into their appearance for everyone. They do it for the person who matters in that moment. Not for attention from the room, not for approval from strangers, for one specific presence. So if she begins paying closer attention to how she looks when she knows you will be around, you must not dismiss it. Don't minimize it. Don't explain it away as coincidence. This is not about dramatic makeovers or sudden transformations that scream for notice. That is not how real attraction usually works, especially when circumstances are complicated. This is about subtle details, easy to miss adjustments, a hint of perfume that wasn't there before, lip gloss she didn't wear yesterday, clothes that fit a little better, feel more intentional, or quietly highlight her best features without crossing any obvious lines. These are not accidents, these are choices. Sometimes it's even more telling. Maybe she wears a color you once complimented, even casually, even in passing. She may not mention it, she may not acknowledge it, but memory plus intention is never random. Be observant. That is what a high-value man does. He notices patterns instead of chasing explanations. Watch her behavior while she is talking to you. Not obsessively, calmly. Does she adjust her hair while listening? Straighten her clothes mid-conversation? Smooth a sleeve? Check her reflection in a window or mirror when you're nearby. These movements are small, almost automatic. That is the point. They happen before logic steps in. This is not simple vanity. That is biology and instinct working together. Attraction creates a quiet urge to present the best version of oneself, even when boundaries exist, even when she is technically taken, even when nothing is supposed to happen. The body reacts before the mind negotiates. That is why psychology tricks around attraction focus on behavior, not words. Words are filtered. Behavior is not. If you want to attract women without forcing anything, you must learn to read what is offered naturally. Picture seeing her in places where comfort usually matters more than style. Work, the gym, a quick coffee stop, places where effort is typically minimal. If she was always relaxed before, practical, unpolished in a comfortable way, but now appears more put together on days you cross paths, that pattern deserves your attention, not because it guarantees anything, but because patterns reveal priority. She didn't wake up thinking, I'll impress him today. That's not how it works. She woke up feeling a pull, a subtle motivation to look just a little better than necessary. That motivation has a source. Be honest with yourself about that source. Don't inflate it, don't rush it, just recognize it. Even posture plays a role. This is something many men miss. Standing a little taller when she notices you, slowing her walk, lifting her chin slightly, becoming more aware of how she occupies space. These are quiet signals, not meant for the room, not meant for validation, meant for one set of eyes. When a woman is attracted, her body language often aligns with her appearance choices. They work together. That alignment is powerful. It's also delicate. Don't stare, don't comment excessively, don't make it awkward. A man who understands masculine energy knows when to stay grounded and when to stay silent. Calm presence amplifies attraction more than compliments ever will. Here is where many men get it wrong. They assume effort equals invitation. It does not. Effort equals interest. That is all. Interest needs space to breathe. Pressure suffocates it. Be steady. Be composed. Be respectful. That is how a high-value man responds. He doesn't rush to label. He doesn't push for clarity too soon. He allows consistency to reveal truth. If these small changes repeat over time, across settings, without prompting, you are not imagining things. You are observing attraction navigating restraint. That tension is real. It is also fragile. Understand this clearly. Women are highly attuned to how they are perceived by men they care about. That care doesn't always mean intention. Sometimes it means curiosity. Sometimes it means emotional pull. Sometimes it means unspoken chemistry that hasn't found language yet. When she adjusts her appearance around you, she is managing how she shows up in your presence. That management requires energy. People do not spend energy where there is no emotional return. This is a principle every man who wants to attract women should internalize. Attention follows value. Effort follows attention. That is not manipulation. That is human nature. You must also look at your role in this dynamic. Are you calm when you speak to her? Are you present without being intrusive? Do you listen without trying to impress? These qualities amplify masculine energy in a way that feels safe and grounding. Safety is attractive. Consistency is attractive. Emotional steadiness is attractive. If her appearance becomes more intentional around you while your behavior remains composed and respectful, that contrast deepens her awareness of you. Don't underestimate that. Attraction grows fastest when it feels unforced. There is another layer here that matters, especially for men in this stage of life. Attracting a woman is not about flash. It's about resonance. When she feels something with you, she instinctively aligns herself to that feeling. Appearance is one of the first places that alignment shows up, not because she is trying to signal you overtly, but because the body seeks harmony with emotion. That is why these signs are called forbidden, not because they are wrong, but because they exist quietly beneath the surface of polite behavior and social rules. Don't confront her about it. Don't joke about it in a way that corners her. That forces her back into her head. Let her stay in her body. Let the moment remain light. A high-value man understands restraint. He doesn't need to confirm every signal. He lets time do the confirming. If her effort remains consistent, if her posture continues to change, If her presence becomes more intentional around you, those threads begin to weave a pattern that speaks for itself. This is where masculine energy matters most, not as performance, as presence. You attract women by being centered, observant, and emotionally grounded, not by chasing signs, not by collecting proof. Attraction deepens when a woman feels seen without feeling exposed, when she feels noticed without feeling pressured. If she is adjusting her appearance around you, she is already feeling something. Your job is not to escalate. Your job is to remain steady and let her feel safe enough to stay in that space. Remember this: real attraction is rarely loud. It whispers through small choices, subtle effort, quiet alignment. When you learn to recognize those signals without reacting impulsively, you step into a different category of man. One who attracts women naturally, one who understands timing, one who respects boundaries while still acknowledging reality. That is the mark of a high-value man. And that is how attraction grows when circumstances are complicated, emotions are unspoken, and the most important signals are the ones most people overlook. If this hit a little too close to home, don't ignore it. Attraction doesn't shout, it reveals itself in quiet details. When someone adjusts, refines, and shows up just a little more around you, that's not random. That's intention. And if you feel this truth, drop a comment right now saying, "I notice the details and I trust my awareness." Like this video, subscribe for more psychological clarity, and remind yourself daily: attention is never accidental. 3. She finds reasons to be close to you. Here is the truth, delivered clean and sharp, the way men with miles behind them appreciate it. When a woman finds reasons to be physically close to you, it is rarely coincidence and almost never meaningless. Attention directs energy, and energy seeks proximity. This is a principle as old as human nature itself, echoed in Old Stoic wisdom that reminds us behavior reveals truth long before words dare to speak. Attraction does not hide in thoughts. It moves the body. It adjusts routines. It bends schedules. If she consistently ends up near you, closer than before, closer than necessary, closer than chance would allow, that is information, not fantasy. Experienced men learn to read information calmly, not emotionally. Clarity is power. Power comes from an iron mind, not wishful thinking. She may never say she wants closeness, especially if she is already taken, but desire leaks through action, through the seat she chooses beside you instead of across the room, through the sudden appearance at your regular cafe when coffee was never her habit, through the gym schedule that mysteriously aligns with yours week after week. Behavioral psychology confirms this pattern again and again. People gravitate physically toward those they feel safe with, stimulated by, or emotionally drawn to, often without conscious planning. This is where Stoicism win shows its value. You observe without chasing. You note without reacting. You let patterns reveal themselves instead of forcing meaning. Watch how she lingers when the conversation ends. Watch how she slows her exit. Watch how she positions herself near you in group settings even when other seats remain open. Notice how her body relaxes in your space. Comfort is the silent language of attraction. As Carl Jung said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Actions carry the truth men should trust. In modern life, where words are cheap and signals are subtle, proximity is one of the most honest currencies left. A man grounded in Old Stoic wisdom understands this is not an invitation to rush, disrupt, or create chaos. It is a cue to stay centered, grounded, and composed. Attraction grows strongest around stability and certainty, not pressure. This is how Stoicism win plays out in real time. Through restraint, through presence, through patience, the iron mind sees clearly and waits. Waiting is not weakness. Waiting is leverage. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In modern terms, this means you do not mirror confusion. You remain steady, you remain intentional. You become the calm reference point others orbit around. For men navigating careers, relationships, and second chances, this awareness is essential. Many opportunities are lost not from ignorance, but from impatience. Proximity without pressure keeps doors open. Forcing meaning closes them. So here is the instruction. Notice the closeness. Respect it. Do not inflate it. Do not dismiss it. Log it. Repeated behavior is the signal, and signals guide wise action. When you carry yourself with an iron mind, rooted in old Stoic wisdom, you naturally become the man others drift toward, not because you demand attention, but because you do not need it. That is how Stoicism manifests in daily life, quietly, steadily, undeniably, giving you control not over others but over yourself, and that is the only victory that lasts. 4. She uses light physical contact. When a woman is truly drawn to you, her body often speaks before her mouth ever does, and one of the clearest signals lives in the quiet language of touch, because when attraction is real, contact is rarely random or meaningless, even when she is technically taken. Be observant, be calm, don't rush to label anything, but don't ignore patterns either. A light brush against your arm while she passes, a gentle tap when she laughs at something you said, a moment where she casually removes an invisible speck from your jacket, or the way her hand lingers on your shoulder just a heartbeat longer than necessary. These gestures seem small, almost forgettable, yet they carry weight because touch is one of the oldest communication tools wired into female psychology. That is not romance movie talk. That is neuroscience. Touch releases bonding chemicals in the brain, especially when attraction already exists, and even minimal contact can quietly deepen emotional familiarity without a single word being spoken. You must understand this clearly. She is not always doing this consciously. Often her body moves before her logic catches up, which is why these moments matter so much. Don't overreact to one touch. One touch can be coincidence. One moment can be harmless. But repeated touches, spaced across time and situations, tell a different story. Watch how often it happens. Watch when it happens. Does she touch you when she's relaxed? When she's amused? When she's sharing something personal? Patterns reveal intention far more honestly than compliments ever will. This is one of the most subtle psychology tricks attraction uses on the human brain, because touch builds safety and emotional closeness without triggering resistance. Be steady, be present. If you choose to mirror this energy gently, perhaps a light touch on her forearm during a natural pause in conversation, pay close attention to her response, because her body will answer faster than her words ever could. If she pulls away immediately, stiffens, or redirects the interaction, that is information. Accept it, respect it. Do not push. But if she relaxes, stays engaged, or later finds another reason to touch you again, that is her nervous system responding honestly, not strategically. This is how female psychology often reveals attraction before commitment, before decisions, before rules get involved. Don't confuse this with manipulation or games. It is simpler than that. It is instinct meeting opportunity. Many men miss this entirely because they look for loud signs instead of quiet consistency. Be different. Be attentive. Understand that touch is a test of comfort, trust, and emotional openness all at once. It answers the unspoken question, do I feel safe being close to him? And when the answer leans toward yes, the body cooperates. This is also why touch is such a powerful bridge in how to fall in love. It creates a shared physical memory that words alone cannot replace. But you must stay grounded. Do not assume ownership. Do not force meaning where it does not belong. Let her actions unfold naturally. Let time confirm what instinct suggests. Attraction thrives in patience, not pressure. Remember, psychology tricks only work when you stay emotionally intelligent, not reactive. When you understand female psychology at this level, you stop chasing clarity and start recognizing it. Touch becomes a signal, not a fantasy, a data point, not a demand. And when you read it correctly, you protect your dignity while allowing connection to grow at its own pace. That balance, calm awareness mixed with restraint, is not only attractive, it is essential if you want to understand how to fall in love without losing yourself in the process. And it is exactly why the smallest touches often reveal the biggest truths. If this opened your eyes, don't just watch and move on. Act. Like the video. Share it with a man who needs clarity, not confusion. Subscribe if you want more psychology tricks that actually explain female psychology and show you how to fall in love without guessing or chasing. And now, lock this lesson in by commenting the sentence below, because awareness begins when you name what you see. Comment to remember. Repeated touch reveals intention, not coincidence. 5. She behaves differently around you. She behaves differently around you, and that difference is rarely subtle once you know how to see it. People are creatures of habit. Most adults move through life with predictable rhythms, familiar gestures, and stable social behavior. Attraction disrupts that balance. It introduces tension, awareness, and a quiet alertness that leaks through the body long before words catch up. Be observant. Don't dismiss changes as coincidence. When she likes you, something shifts beneath the surface. She may grow slightly nervous, fidgeting with her hands, adjusting her hair, stumbling over words she normally speaks with ease. That is not insecurity. That is chemistry mixed with restraint, desire colliding with self-control. The body reacts before the mind gives permission, and that reaction is honest. Other women express attraction in the opposite way. They become playful, more animated, more expressive. They tease, they lean in, they laugh a little louder at your jokes, even the average ones. They engage deeply and give you their full attention, not because they are trying to impress you, but because presence feels natural when attraction is present. Be aware of this contrast. Attraction does not have a single uniform shape. It adapts to personality, history, and emotional comfort. Some women open up instead of acting nervous. They ask deeper questions. They share personal thoughts. They remember small details you mentioned weeks ago. That is not casual curiosity. That is emotional investment beginning to form. You must compare, not obsessively, but calmly. Compare how she treats others to how she treats you. Is she relaxed and effortless with everyone else, but noticeably more alert, more careful, or more expressive when you are around? Or is she reserved with most people, yet animated, warm, and engaged with you? That contrast matters. Attraction rarely hides in isolation. It reveals itself in difference. Don't look for perfection. Look for deviation. Picture this. You enter a room, and before you even speak, her posture changes. She adjusts her hair. She straightens her back. She shifts her stance. She touches her necklace or ring. Maybe she bites her lip without realizing it. These movements are not planned. They happen before thought, before strategy, before self-editing. Attraction changes behavior first. Logic follows later. That is why these signals are so powerful. They bypass intention and speak directly from instinct. Be grounded here. Don't inflate your ego. Don't jump to conclusions. Awareness is not assumption. A high-value man observes without rushing to label. He understands that attraction is energy, not entitlement. When you remain calm and present, her behavior reveals more over time. Masculine energy is steady, not reactive. It creates space for others to show themselves honestly. This is also why trying too hard kills clarity. When you chase validation, you interfere with the signal. When you stay centered, you attract women naturally because you are not seeking confirmation at every turn. That calm presence allows her behavior to unfold organically. Attraction thrives in emotional safety, not pressure. Notice how her attention changes. Does she track your reactions more closely? Does she adjust her tone when speaking to you? Does she mirror your posture or pace without realizing it? These are subtle signs of alignment. They suggest her nervous system is tuning itself to yours. That alignment is the early language of connection. Be patient. Don't interrogate moments. Let patterns emerge. One nervous laugh means nothing. Repeated shifts over time mean everything. This is where emotional intelligence separates confusion from clarity. A high-value man understands that attraction reveals itself quietly, then consistently. He doesn't force answers. He allows them to surface. Understand this deeply. Attraction does not always feel comfortable to the person experiencing it. Sometimes it disrupts her composure. Sometimes it pulls her out of her usual rhythm. That tension can look like hesitation, teasing, or even brief withdrawal followed by re-engagement. Don't misread that as disinterest. Be discerning, not defensive. When you embody masculine energy, you become a stable reference point. She senses that steadiness. It allows her to relax into her reactions instead of suppressing them. This is how you attract women without persuasion or performance. Presence does the work. You must also remember that maturity sharpens attraction signals rather than erasing them. Adults don't lose the ability to feel chemistry. They simply learn to manage it. That management creates leaks, small behavioral shifts that reveal what words are careful to hide. Your job is not to decode every movement. Your job is to notice the difference and respect the process. Be calm. Be observant. Don't chase. Don't assume. Let attraction speak through behavior, because behavior rarely lies for long. This awareness doesn't just help you attract women. It refines how you move through relationships with confidence and clarity. That is the mark of a high-value man: steady presence, emotional awareness, and the patience to let truth reveal itself without force. 6. Her eyes reveal what her words hide. A man who has lived long enough understands one unshakable truth. Words are easy to shape, but attention is hard to fake. And this is where her eyes quietly tell the story her mouth never will. Because speech is learned behavior while the eyes are ruled by instinct, habit, and emotion. And when a woman is drawn to you, especially when circumstances say she shouldn't be, her gaze becomes inconsistent, revealing and honest in ways she doesn't even realize. She may talk casually, keep things polite, even mention commitments, yet her eyes linger just a second longer than logic demands, returning to you again and again as if pulled by gravity. She holds eye contact, releases it, then seeks it again, a silent rhythm that signals curiosity and emotional pull. You catch her looking when she thinks you aren't aware, and when your eyes meet, she looks away too quickly, not because she's indifferent, but because she's aware she revealed something. This is not romance movie fantasy. This is human psychology. As William James once said, the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated, and the eyes are where appreciation leaks out first. In modern life, where people are overstimulated, distracted, and buried in screens, sustained eye contact is rare, which makes it powerful. When she gives it to you freely, when her gaze softens, when her pupils subtly widen, when her attention narrows despite the noise around her, that focus is intentional even if she hasn't admitted it to herself. This is where Old Stoic wisdom applies. Observe, don't chase, read reality, don't argue with it. A man with an iron mind doesn't rush to label or confront. He watches patterns. One glance means nothing. Repeated, unconscious attention means everything. She becomes fully present when you speak, not multitasking, not scanning the room, not checking her phone. And presence is the currency of attraction today. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. A grounded man doesn't seek validation. He notices it when it appears. He doesn't exploit it. He respects it. In a world obsessed with surface-level signals, the eyes remain the most reliable truth-tellers. When she mirrors your gaze, when she maintains it during moments that could have ended it, when she reconnects visually after breaking it, she's signaling comfort, curiosity, and emotional engagement. This doesn't mean you act recklessly or cross boundaries. Stoicism win is knowing when to stay calm, when to stay honorable, and when to let things unfold without force. The modern man must balance awareness with restraint. That balance is power. That balance is confidence. As Seneca said, "He who is brave is free," and bravery here is not action, but self-control. The advice is simple and timeless. Don't overinterpret words designed to manage appearances. Pay attention to behavior that slips past intention. Let eye contact guide your understanding, not your ego. Let it inform your choices, not rush them. Stay composed. Stay observant. Stay grounded. Repeat this discipline daily, in work, in relationships, in life. Watch how people look at you when they think nothing is at stake. Watch who becomes still when you speak. Watch who notices when you enter and feels it when you leave. This awareness sharpens perception, strengthens judgment, and builds an iron mind capable of navigating modern relationships without confusion or regret. Old Stoic wisdom teaches mastery over self before mastery over circumstance, and this is where you win. Stoicism win is seeing clearly. Stoicism win is staying steady. Stoicism win is choosing dignity over impulse. When you operate from that place, attraction becomes information, not temptation, and life becomes something you direct, not something that pulls you off center. If this opened your eyes to how attraction really works, don't just watch and move on. Take control. Like the video, share it with a man who needs sharper awareness, and subscribe for more psychology-backed insight that gives you an edge in modern life. Now lock this lesson into your mind by engaging with it. Comment this sentence below and make it part of how you see the world from now on. Eyes reveal interest long before words dare to speak. 7. She remembers small details about you. She remembers small details about you, and that is where the quiet truth lives. Because when a woman is emotionally drawn in, attention sharpens without effort. Memory becomes selective. What you once said in passing suddenly matters. If she recalls your favorite drink, a story you shared weeks ago, or a preference you never thought was important, don't brush it off. Don't laugh it away. Don't call it coincidence. That is not what this is. The brain does not work randomly. It prioritizes information connected to feeling. This is one of those subtle psychology tricks that operate beneath awareness, deeply rooted in female psychology. Emotional relevance decides what stays and what disappears. So when she brings up something you barely remember saying, understand this clearly. You stayed with her after the moment ended. You occupied space in her thoughts while life continued around her. That matters more than words ever could. Pay attention to how she moves beyond jokes and surface-level talk. Humor is easy. Anyone can laugh. But curiosity is intentional. When she asks how you feel, what you think, and what actually matters to you, she is doing something specific. She is reaching past the surface. She listens instead of waiting for her turn to speak. She follows your words instead of redirecting the conversation. Don't ignore this. Emotional connection often appears long before any visible boundary is crossed. This is how it begins, quietly, thoughtfully, steadily. She wants to understand you, not just be entertained by you, and that distinction is critical. Notice when she shares personal thoughts. Notice when she opens up about fears, doubts, or moments of uncertainty. Don't rush to label it as nothing. Don't assume it's just habit, and don't overreact either. Be calm, be grounded. Emotional openness is selective. People protect what feels personal. They offer it only where they feel safe. So if she confides in you while keeping emotional distance from others, that bond already carries weight. That bond is meaningful. This is one of those psychology tricks people overlook because it isn't dramatic, but it is powerful. And if you've ever wondered how to fall in love without forcing anything, this is where it starts. Not with pressure, not with pursuit, but with shared emotional space. Understand this. Attraction is not always loud. Sometimes it is careful. Sometimes it is restrained. Sometimes it stays quiet because circumstances exist. And yes, even if she is taken, emotional pull can still show itself through attention, memory, and presence. That does not mean you act recklessly. Don't push. Don't test boundaries. Don't demand clarity she may not be ready to give. You must be steady instead. Be observant. Let your actions match the pace of reality. Mature connection respects timing. Many men misread this moment. They chase the surface and miss the signal underneath. You must do the opposite. You must read the pattern. Female psychology often reveals interest through consistency, not confession, through remembering, not declaring, through asking, not telling. When she checks in on how you're doing emotionally, when she circles back to conversations that mattered, when she remembers details no one else noticed, she is staying connected without making noise. That is not accidental. That is intention expressed quietly. And this is how trust forms. one remembered detail at a time. If you truly want to understand how to fall in love in an adult, grounded way, this is the blueprint. Attention builds familiarity. Familiarity builds comfort. Comfort builds attachment. Slowly, naturally, without pressure. Don't rush to define it. Don't corner her with questions. Don't try to control the direction. Be present. Be consistent. Be emotionally literate. Attraction at this level responds to steadiness, not urgency. Remember this, the goal is not to impress. The goal is not to win. That mindset breaks connection. The goal is to recognize what is already unfolding and respond with clarity and respect. The strongest signals are often the quietest ones. And if you can see them, if you understand the psychology tricks beneath the surface, if you respect the rhythm of female psychology, and if you truly grasp how to fall in love without forcing an outcome, you'll realize this truth. Her remembering you is not a small thing at all. It is the foundation. It is attention turned into meaning. And it is an invitation to stay aware, grounded, and emotionally intelligent as the story continues to write itself. 8. She tests boundaries carefully. She tests boundaries carefully, not loudly, not recklessly. She does it the way someone does when they want information without exposure. She may joke about what-if situations. She may lightly tease about attraction. She may drop a comment that feels just a little risky, then watch you closely. Don't mistake this for randomness. Don't tell yourself it means nothing. That is not how this works. These are tests, not accidents. She is not crossing lines. She is tracing them. She wants to see how you respond when the door is cracked open but not pushed through. Your reaction gives her data, your tone, your calm, your restraint. All of it matters. Understand this clearly. A woman rarely tests a man she feels nothing for. Testing requires attention. It requires curiosity. It requires intention. When she says something playful that carries a hint of attraction, she is watching to see if you panic, if you brag, if you lean too far forward, or if you stay grounded. You must stay grounded. Don't rush to impress. Don't jump to claim. Don't retreat either. Be present. Be steady. That balance is where respect forms. That is where a high-value man separates himself from everyone else in the room, not by force, not by volume, by control of self. She wants to know if you can handle tension without breaking it. Attraction lives in tension. It breathes there. When you respond with calm humor, when you acknowledge without escalating, when you stay relaxed in your body and clear in your words, you show something important. You show masculine energy that feels safe, contained, and intentional. That is what allows attraction to grow without chaos. If you overreact, the test fails. If you ignore it completely, the signal fades. You must read the moment and meet it at the right level. That is how you attract women without chasing them. Notice how she creates moments that feel like they belong only to the two of you. Even in groups, she finds ways to narrow the space. A private joke that only you understand. A side conversation that pulls you slightly away from everyone else. A shared look that lingers half a second longer than necessary. These are not big moves. They are precise ones. Micro moments. Small windows of connection that don't draw attention but build intimacy quietly. Don't underestimate them. Intimacy doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Be aware of this. She is creating closeness without obvious action. That is intentional. It allows her to explore connection while keeping everything socially safe, especially if she is taken, especially if circumstances are complicated. Don't push her to make it louder. Don't force clarity before it's ready. You must respect the structure of the moment. A high-value man understands timing. He doesn't rush outcomes. He lets interest reveal itself fully. That patience is part of what makes him attractive. Pay attention to how she positions herself near you, how conversations naturally drift in your direction, how she circles back to you even when there are other people around. That is focus. Focus is never accidental. When she invests energy in creating shared moments, she is measuring how it feels to be connected to you. She is asking herself a quiet question. Is this safe? Is this exciting? Is this grounded? Your behavior answers that question more loudly than words ever could. Don't confuse boundary testing with manipulation. It's exploration. It's curiosity wrapped in caution. Female attraction often moves this way, slowly, indirectly, with plausible deniability. This is where many men fail. They either push too hard and collapse the moment, or they stay passive and disappear into the background. You must do neither. Be responsive, not reactive. Be confident, not performative. That balance signals masculine energy without pressure, and that energy is what allows you to attract women consistently without games. Remember this, she is not asking you to take control of the situation. She is asking you to show control of yourself. That distinction matters. A man who can stay composed in subtle tension communicates strength without saying it. He doesn't need to prove. He doesn't need to chase. He lets the moment breathe. That is what makes him a high-value man in her eyes, whether she admits it or not. If you want to attract women at this stage of life, understand this truth. Attraction is less about bold moves and more about emotional regulation, less about saying the right thing and more about being the right presence. Masculine energy is felt, not declared. It shows in how you handle ambiguity, how you respect boundaries, how you respond when interest shows up softly instead of loudly. So don't rush, don't pressure, don't demand clarity where nuance exists. Be observant, be patient, be intentional. Let her tests reveal what she needs to see. Let your steadiness do the talking. Because when a woman tests boundaries carefully, she is already engaged. And how you show up in those quiet moments determines whether interest deepens or disappears. All right, that's the wrap. If this video helped you see things more clearly or gave you a new perspective, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next lesson, because knowledge only works when you keep sharpening it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you agree with these signs? Have you noticed any of them in real life, or do you see things differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk it out. Different viewpoints always make the conversation stronger. Remember this, confidence comes from understanding, not guessing. If you move with clarity, calm, and self-respect, you never have to chase signals, you attract them. Until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and never forget, a man who knows his value is never confused.